Welcome to an episode of You Haven't Read What? I'm Krista.
And I'm Christina. Join us to explore unique genres, childhood favorites, and literary classics as we dive into each other's favorite reads.
Where one of us is very familiar with the book, the other is reading for the very first time. Let's go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good.
That's good.
Rocking our Harry Potter pajamas tonight.
Yes, we
I gotta
are.
get closer to my mic. Haha. I can hear myself now.
So we are a little loopy because it is
Late.
2 minutes to 11.
It's very, very late.
It's very
Yes.
late. But we just finished the movie,
Woohoo!
and we don't want to forget all of our notes.
I took 2 pages just like last time
That
on the
tracks.
movie. Yeah. Oh, well.
So anyway, I'm Krista,
And I'm Christina.
and you guys have gotten used to us, but we have 2 others with us tonight.
Woo!
So on my left is...
Tim.
He is my other half, and also a big part of our IT department.
Yep. And then I've got Rob on my side.
Hello.
The peanut gallery that we talk about when we're at our house. Currently, we're in your basement.
We are.
Just hanging. I dig
Oh my
it.
God.
I mean, you've got new stuff on the walls and stuff that I haven't seen because every time I come over here, it's, hey, Rob, we need to secret talk real quick. So
What bullshit is that?
you've done it a couple times.
Man cave.
I mean, you can come down here. You're clearly down here now.
Well, yeah, but I haven't seen some of this stuff. So.
It is all new.
Yeah.
There's a couple new things. Not all new.
Yeah. And I like Dobby, that thing one built for you.
Yes.
Or
yeah.
for her. Sorry.
Yeah, that was,
It was
one of her.
I know
There are
what this
things.
is now.
You do know.
It's a sock.
It's a sock.
Yep.
I get it.
And we'll get into that because it's not in the right place and it bothers me that it doesn't fit in the actual place that it should.
We'll get there. The Lego will be significantly less cool. Just saying.
Yeah.
And we got my sorting hat too.
Yes.
And it talks if you have one. It talks. I'm not gonna.
does.
You don't
I
know it
wondered
talks?
if it actually did because it says that it talks.
No, you're going to have to put that up to a microphone. Not
Yeah.
a chance we can hear that.
No,
Yeah.
not right now. I don't know where the speaker on it is. Let's see if I can get it close enough. Hold on.
Ah, yes, you belong in Hufflepuff.
Nice.
So it says various things when you push on the top of it.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cute.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Except for when the toddler finds it and just keeps pushing it over and over and over and over.
Oh, yeah.
But most of the times he does that, it just says Slytherin, Slytherin, Slytherin. I'm like, yep, that tracks.
Accurate.
Very much.
So yeah, so we just finished watching the second movie,
Yep.
and our, let me say, experience with the movie and the books are kind of all over the place.
Yes.
So obviously you've been listening to Christina and I read the books just now, and wrap these all up. Tim read them back in the day when they came out, just a couple of years ago.
Just a few.
Just a few. And watched them all when the movies came out, right?
Yeah, and I also listened to them on audiobook about, Thing 2 is about 3 years old, so about 3 years ago.
Nice.
Well, there you go. And then on the other hand, we have Bob, who I don't believe has read any of the movies.
So I haven't read any of them, but I've
read any of the movies.
I feel very familiar with the first 2 books because I think I've got more listens on all of the episodes than anybody else combined.
Probably.
I think you're probably right.
Even though none of them are like actually on any of the outlets or anything like that. It's all in editing.
That's fair.
So
He puts everything together. Every final product that you guys listen to, he's
all
the
my
one
fault.
who. It's
all the scripts are all
yeah, well,
I mean, there are
feel free to disagree with me at any time, babe.
I mean, it's kind of hard. So Bob and I used to be on the radio when we lived in North Dakota. So it's one of those things where sometimes it's just different and
all
sometimes you
good.
mess up and sometimes you don't and you just keep going and whatever. So he's really good at that and it's been good to have that side of things and whatnot.
yep.
So
Yep. So
But-
yeah. So So he's been getting a reread with us.
Yep.
But has never watched any like.
Have you watched?
So I saw
watched
the.
'em.
I watched some of the movies when I was a kid. We obviously rewatched the first movie last night, so it's
Yes.
like it's
Fresh.
It's very fresh. The whole thing is fresh.
Yes.
So
Harry
it's-
Potter onslaught.
Yeah.
Well, so I decided I was like, I've got to rewatch it just so that way I'm on top of it and everything like that. And since it's been forever for you, so we watched it and it was one of those. I don't remember that. Oh, wait, hold on. Did that actually happen? Wait, hold on. That's not what the book said. So I kept telling him to pause it and be like, okay, so the book actually states.
You're one of those now.
And I just was
of
like,
us. One of
it's like there's so many differences. And he just kept going,
don't-
okay.
I don't
Like,
care.
yeah, he probably totally didn't care. So, I mean, it was one of those.
That's amazing.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah. So,
So I have some quick facts
Yeah.
from this movie. First of all, it came out in 2002, exactly 1 year after the first movie came out, and that is because when they wrapped up filming on the first one, they took like a week off at most and dove right into the
sounds
second
like
one.
us. We took a week off for Christmas.
And boom, we're back.
Yep.
So yeah, because they didn't want the kid stage.
That
So,
makes sort
They
of sense.
just
yeah.
rolled right into the next one. And by this point, at least 4 books, I think the 5th book was out by this point. So they knew what they were doing.
Right.
And they're like, cool, we can get through at least 5 without all these kids aging. Let's go. So some fun facts. Rupert Grint, who plays Ron Weasley, also hates spiders. And in the premiere, he ducked under his chair and closed his eyes. To this date, he claims he has never rewatched those scenes because he hated them so much.
It's one of, like, I even said it while we were watching. I was like, it's the thing of nightmares.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
This is why we needed to do this instead of going to bed right away.
It reminds me of that plane movie with the snakes all
Snakes on
over.
a plane.
Like, I've never actually seen the movie, but that's the only part of that movie that is Tim over there. Is,
Tim hates snakes.
Follow the spiders. Nope.
Nope.
Sorry.
I mean, if
Voldemort
they were
wins.
that small, if they were just that small, the whole, like, all of them.
The damn things are the size of a car.
Well, I know, but like if they were the small ones that were inside of the
Also
school,
nope.
like you could at least smush them
Also,
Run their-
no.
or spray them. Exactly.
Whoa.
But
I'm not
yeah.
sure that's any better.
Nope. No, thank you.
So we fast forwarded to see. So if you have the DVDs or you watch it on Max or whatever, it is the only movie in the Harry Potter series that has a post-credit scene. And I will leave it at that because if you've never seen
It's good.
I didn't actually know it existed until today.
It's a
I
good
can't tell you how many times I have watched that movie.
Uh-huh.
And tonight was the first time I've ever known that it existed.
Yep, me too. Yep. When I Googled this, I was like, oh. Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. Yes.
Yes.
So you
if you
must do it.
if you know this movie, then you will love it.
It's fantastic. And it's funny that now, gosh, how old is this movie? 22 years later? Like, there you
I
go.
just got old.
23.
It's
It's
Yeah.
2025.
2025 now.
Poop.
Depending on when it came out.
Fair,
Come on.
fair. Is every movie has post-credit
Yep.
little sneakies now.
It usually gives you the next movie.
Right.
When you do those. This one is not.
This one does not. But it's great. But it's the only one in the series that has it. So that's kind of fun. A University of Cambridge professor, Francis Nolan, created Parseltongue. And the author made him write a guide so that everyone could learn it. But because he made it so detailed, he made it an actual language because this is what this professor did.
Is it like Klingon or something?
yeah.
I was thinking the exact
Yes.
same thing. I'm like, somebody somewhere has got like the online Klingon dictionary for this for sure. It's got
You
to
don't
be a
speak
thing.
Klingon?
No.
I bet
do
How are
you
we
our
friends?
friend Seth does. Brittany's
Seth
husband
does for sure.
probably does.
Oh.
And
Fluently.
maybe another friend of ours that may come on later, Zenobio, he might know a little bit.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Eh,
I might have to
I think
ask
he's
him.
probably more fluent in Wookiee than he is in Klingon. Love you, Snobio.
Yep.
Truth. And then my last little fun fact here is Jason Isaacs, who is Lucius Malfoy, is also known for voice work. So while they were going to do it by computer, make up the noises, he could do it better. So he is also the voice of the snake.
Really?
Oh, that's
So
cool.
he does all the hissing.
Wonder what
And then-
other voice work he does.
Interesting.
He's done a lot of stuff.
He is in a lot of stuff.
He also, I didn't write this down, but we all recognized him from various things. As soon as he came on, everyone's like, oh,
The Patriot guy.
Patriot. Yeah. And he actually, when they wanted him for this, he actually wanted the role of Lockhart.
Are you talking about Snape or
No.
Lockhart?
Lucius
Lucius
Malfoy.
Malfoy.
Okay.
Mr. Malfoy.
Oh,
Jason
yes.
Isaacs.
Okay.
He wanted to audition for Lockhart. They
Okay.
said, no, go audition for Malfoy. He didn't want to because he had just finished filming Peter Pan, where he plays Hook. Oh. And he did not want to
Wait.
be the bad guy in 2 kids movies back to back.
The like
was
the
too good.
animated or not the animated Hook.
No.
The actual.
This is the live
Yeah, the live
action.
action.
Oh, I loved that movie
Yeah.
growing up.
He's Hook.
I did not know that.
There you go.
I do have to ask, did he go to Juilliard?
Oh, I hope so. Probably not, though.
I mean, I feel like you go to
Yes.
Juilliard and you get to make random animal
Random
noises.
animal noises. What is his name?
I don't
That-
know.
that
but
we're
he
both
voices
thinking
Hey
of.
Hey.
Yeah, he does Hey Hey
That's all I
Moana.
know him for.
He's in. Shoot.
Okay. The
I'll
Google's
save the
coming.
listeners their ears, and I will not do my Hey Hey impression tonight.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
If you're gonna do it, like back off that mic, like at least a foot.
So, why Juilliard with animal noises?
Well, that's
Alan Tudyk, something like that. Sorry, I probably butchered that. This guy.
Oh, I know him from other things though. Okay,
He's
so
in Star Trek. He's in.
do I know him from Star Trek?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
But he
A
also
Knight's
does
Tale.
Hey Hey,
Another.
A Knight's Tale.
Okay.
He also plays Villager 3. But that's the whole joke is he is like classically trained Juilliard, like
Interesting.
proper grad. And yeah, it's kind of the joke is you go to Juilliard to make animal noises.
That's cool. I mean,
He's
to
very
each
talented.
Your own. If that is what you want to do, then cool. Go for it. I mean, we're sitting here hanging out.
None of us went to Juilliard though.
That is true.
but I can do a mean Hey Hey.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe at the end
Please
we'll
don't.
convince him to do it.
Please don't.
Yeah, at the end, I think you're gonna have to do that.
Can you do the pig too?
I'm gonna make that
I cannot.
I'll make that our bleep noise.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
So instead of this, it'll just be you.
Okay. Well, we might have our own
start adding
classically animal trained
There we go.
voice person in our own little group.
Just sustain that. It'd be great.
So, anyways.
Anyway,
Back to the movie. Back to reality.
So the very beginning, Tim, the very, very beginning of the movie, you read something and you were like, I need to make a comment about that. Do you remember what it was?
Christina made
Starts with
notes
an-
for you.
I appreciate
It
that.
starts with an A, has an O, has an L.
All of these things. Is
Oh.
it the alphabet?
Correct. Yeah, it really showed its age. AOL
Yes.
Time Warner. For
Yes.
those of you, born after 1999.
When Google or when the actual internet came out, right?
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. That,
The American
That was a
era.
throwback.
Yeah.
Al Gore's invention.
I mean,
oh,
do you remember when it did all the dial up and all of that? Ugh.
Have
I
that
can also do a good impression of that. So if you'd
Yeah.
like me to, maybe that's the new podcast.
I've got that permanently ingrained in my brain.
I know, right? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was homeschooled, so I did all of my schooling on CDs. I mean, you
Aw.
literally had to put the disc into the thing. And we had floppies
I was
too
about
for
to
a
say, what
long
about the
time.
floppies?
I mean, to this
Actual
day.
floppies or 3.5 floppies?
Wait, hold on. Do my parents
Yes.
still use the floppies?
Yeah, your parents still do. Yep.
I don't.
Absolutely.
I think they might be USB now. But anyways, my parents have a company that does embroidery, and their machine you had to put everything on a floppy disk.
Yep.
Nice.
And if I'm correct, they still have the machine that you have to use a floppy, but I'm pretty sure I'm wrong because I think they got rid of it. But they had hundreds of floppies just sitting in their area or like their office because they would have to use them constantly to put their little program on and stick it into their embroidery machine. So I grew up a lot with those.
Do you have a floppy drive in this house, Tim?
Of course I do. What kind of nerd would I be if I didn't?
Fair.
I not only have one, I have a backup.
And it's probably USB plug-in.
I do have one of those as well.
Okay, now that we are way off topic.
Hey, you guys are the ones that invited us on here. What did you think you were going to get?
And it's 11:13 at night.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Pour on the coffee.
Tim's drinking coffee.
Yeah.
Tuck that behind your right ear like the little snack floppy reader. Anyways.
So anyway, I'm going to ask this again. And for Bob, let's mix this up slightly. But
All
I'm going to
right.
ask Christina and Tim who your favorite book to movie character was. And then just Bob in general, who was your favorite character? Who do you think fit the role the best?
So I would say Malfoy, probably,
Ooh.
because I haven't seen him yet. In the first movie, he wasn't there.
Not really.
And so I would say Lucius, like not Draco, but
Mr.
Lucius.
Malfoy.
Yes. Because
Yeah.
he just kind of embodies that same personality and everything. And not only that, but he's almost like a duplicate of Draco at that point, with the slick back hair and all that stuff. Though my second would be Mr. Weasley, because
yeah.
he and the twins are very similar in like just facial everything and whatnot. And so I thought like his personality on there and everything like that is just, it's very nice.
Oh my gosh, him
But we
asking
didn't
what the
see-
function of a rubber duck is.
Yeah. Well, we didn't
Kills me
see
every
enough
time.
of him. So, or Mrs. Weasley. We just didn't
fair.
see enough.
It's fair.
What about you?
I do that scene with Thing 1, and even though she's still very young, I get that eye roll hardcore. So I'm getting a preview of future years. But
Right.
I'm glad I have 3 because everything you said about Lucius Malfoy, I agree. I would also say Moaning Myrtle. Just
Ooh.
it's exactly what I had in my head reading the books.
Okay.
The range and the annoyingness, but also willing to talk and everything. And then Colin Creevy. I know he doesn't have a lot of time in the movie,
He gets petrified pretty quick, but
Yeah.
but he's perfect.
he's obnoxious enough for you.
He's perfectly
He's-
obnoxious. He's exactly what you envision.
The camera.
The kid that's
Paparazzi.
gonna, yeah, exactly.
Paparazzi.
Arthur Weasley.
You like
I,
that?
He's
I
fun.
like him a lot. He's the stereotypical dad. Like he's the dad's dad, right? And I think that's
He is. He is.
I got a big kick out of his character. I think like he doesn't have a whole lot of screen time or whatever, but like exactly the rest of his personality
Yes.
based on everything that you saw.
That
Yeah.
2 minutes you got is like,
yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Like,
know this person.
I know this person.
I
and
am this person. Yeah.
I aspire to be that person. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, no, Arthur
mean,
Weasley for sure.
So in the book, you get more of him and like throughout the book and towards the end and everything as well. So you get to experience more of his personality and everything. But I think you're right. Like that little bit. And then like when the car, when they come back with the car with Harry and everything.
How did it go?
How'd it go? Whack.
Just the best. It's awesome. So
I mean, Mrs. Weasley's pretty good too.
yeah.
She's
love
pretty
Molly.
good.
Yeah.
Molly Weasley.
I mean, she was good. She was really interesting in the first book, or in the first book and movie
the
too.
screamer was pretty funny.
so, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Screamer.
yeah. The screamer that comes in.
The howler.
Oh,
The
the
howler.
howler.
Sorry, not the scream.
Sorry.
The howler.
The howler.
Scream. It's all the same.
I mean, we are in a different book and movie because there is actually movies called Scream.
I mean, there's that.
Anyways, so the cake with Dobby. So okay, I have a Dobby as well. That's Lego. It's got a little cake. We don't have the
I
cake
didn't
here,
grab the cake. Sorry.
but It's like the perfect replica. And I did
beautiful.
not, until I saw the movie, did not put 2 and 2 together. And I don't know why, but like you don't get really a lot of that description in the book of the cake. And then so I saw it and I was like, oh, that's what that is.
Big fancy dessert.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
She gets drenched in that cake.
It's so
I hope they got
gross.
to do that in one take because, woof.
Could you
I
imagine
would not
if
want
that
to
was
do
more
that
than one?
twice.
Yeah, no. No, thank you.
Reset everything. The hair, the couch, the wardrobe.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm good. It just looked gross.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was just like pudding or something or like
Oh, I'm
some sort of
sure.
slime or I don't know. But
I'd say, or just like purple whipped cream.
I mean, it could have been.
Like, just,
Yeah. So is Dobby CGI
oh, yeah.
or is he
Yeah.
a person?
Oh no.
Yeah.
CGI for sure.
Are you
We are-
sure?
we are past
Because
the days
Bad
of-
CGI, but it's CGI.
I think Dobby.
2002.
So when I look at this, I look at two things. One is how the CGI stands on its own and how everything around it interacts with the CGI. I think the kids struggled a lot
Yep.
interacting with something that wasn't there because Harry does okay with Dobby in his room. It's not great because he kind of does a lot of this like standing in front of him, like with his hands and like around him without touching him.
Right.
And then the one that it's really obvious to me is with the pixies when they're trying to hit him. They're doing little like little
yeah.
like fake hits, and I'm like, schwack the dang thing. But they're like afraid to move too far,
Right.
and so that's where I think the CGI kind of falls apart. Is more because the things are the kids especially didn't know how to act around the CGI. Whereas
Right.
then at the very end, when you have Lucius walking out and kicks Dobby, which is improvised, by the way, he was just walking out, just kicked randomly, and they're like, "Oh, we got to put Dobby in there now." Like I feel like he knew how to interact with Dobby,
Yeah.
and he seems more real then, as opposed to Harry like afraid of not touching a thing in his room.
Well, and he probably was in movies that had more
Oh,
CGI
100%.
than the kids did at
Yeah.
that point. But to me, like Dobby looked so much more real than I was expecting. Like Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Gollum.
Gollum, sorry.
No R.
There's no R in that.
Okay, well, I put
Dumbledore.
an F in
It's fine.
Dumbledore. So,
We add letters. It's okay. It's what we do.
yeah. But I like, isn't he CGI as well?
Yes.
Or am I totally
Sort
making
of.
that up?
He's
So-
a different type of CGI.
Andy
So
Serkis?
Yeah.
Serkis?
Andy side. Yeah, I
I
can't.
think I said that right.
Yeah. Anyways, he wore a suit,
Yeah, with all the little
right?
dots all
With
over.
all the little dots.
Oh, okay.
So there was an
crawled around.
actual actor
Okay.
there.
Well, and like I just think of, so I've only seen bits and pieces of Lord of the Rings. I've never actually fully watched it, but he and Dobby just seemed very similar to me, and that's why I was like, oh,
They're-
it might be an actual person, but definitely not a person, I guess. So cool.
Speaking of schwack the dang thing,
Oh.
Dudley. Schwack the dang thing.
Yeah.
I had 3 notes at the beginning of my list or whatever. Like Dudley, I'd like to beat the crap out of that guy. Dudley's
He's a
dad, I'd like to
kid.
beat the crap out of that guy. And then Dobby, I'd like to beat the crap out of that guy.
Yeah.
So the first Lord of the Rings came out in 200001. So I
Yeah.
thought they were close. So
Okay, so they
So
could have
there's-
been very
Could have been the
similar.
same technology.
they're saying
Yeah.
Yep.
era CGI.
Okay.
Yeah, same type of thing. I mean, who knows? It could have been a small actor or something like that, but
I don't believe so.
I don't think it was.
I don't think so. I think they would have been had an easier time interacting with him had there been a person there.
Probably. I could see that.
But then I mainly thought the snake at the end was really good. I thought that held up really well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. He it reminded me of a Loch Ness monster. And I
Yes.
don't know why, but the very first second I saw the snake, I was like, "Oh, that looks like a Loch Ness monster without, the weird fins and the big old body." Like it just like the way that its head came
Yeah.
out and everything just kind of reminds me of something like that.
And I don't know about you, there is so much more water in that chamber than I got from the book.
Oh, yes.
Like everything is wet.
Yep. Yeah.
He's constantly.
I mean, and
Where
it,
all the pipes come.
I know.
Right.
It's still in the
But-
book does not make it sound like a swamp.
Well, and not only that, but like the statue is different. The whole atmosphere of the chamber, like he had to walk further from the
door.
rubble to the door to the actual chamber.
Need some
and all of
theatrics
that.
though.
All the snakeheads.
Yeah, like Medusa.
I
Like,
thought there was for sure going to be like an Indiana Jones vibe there, where like the snakes were. I was like, bro, you are not going fast enough. Go faster.
right.
Find a whip in the hat. Let's go.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just kind of like I pictured more for the chamber and different for the bathroom than we got. The bathroom was a little
That's
weird,
fair. I think I
but
did picture the bathroom differently, but on the flip side, I think I liked it better.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I think that's one of those. I'm like, oh, that's actually a little bit better.
right.
So,
But
yeah.
I mean, so do you have any other questions that you want to ask?
I mean, I was going to ask if you had a least favorite book to movie character
Ooh, a least.
or a least favorite character.
You know what?
several.
Lockhart. So to me, Lockhart didn't match the book.
Okay, so Lockhart. Have y'all seen Castle,
Yes.
Like the,
the show?
TV show.
Like Nathan Fillion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lockhart reminds me of Castle,
Yes.
but more of a bitch.
Yes. Accurate. Accurate.
Like,
I mean,
and I apologize for the
see
language, but I
the-
don't think I can say that any better. Than
Yes.
I can kind of see that because, I mean, Castle is an author
very charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of
charismatic.
acts a little bit like he's kind of airheadish. Like he does. So that actor, though,
Yeah.
doesn't, he plays another role in The Rookie and he is
don't know that one.
completely different
Oh,
in
yeah.
that TV show.
I haven't seen that TV show, but I've heard of it.
Yeah. I've
I
seen little bits and pieces.
Would be remiss if I didn't say I know him from Firefly.
Yes. Yep.
Also Firefly, yes.
Yes.
I think that's probably the first place I saw him. But
I mean, that's probably where he got big.
That's the first place I saw him for
Yeah.
sure, is Firefly. And then
none of us know his
Castle's
name.
really
But
Yeah.
so what's funny is Castle is my go-to whenever I'm on travel and stuck in a hotel
Really?
room. It's what plays late at night on free
is true on
TV in
TV.
hotel room.
Yeah.
So that's the only Castle I've watched is in hotel rooms.
I
And
can't even remember the last time I turned on a TV in a hotel.
I need to fall asleep to something.
Didn't I buy you an iPad?
You're a good husband, Tim.
Kicking it
Yeah.
like it's 1990.
I know. It's fun to find random stuff on TV. Come on. Now
True
I've watched
that.
some of Castle.
So like
Yeah.
there's not like infomercials on TV anymore in the middle of the night. I
That's
can't
not
even
true.
I can't even tell you how many times I fell asleep to the rotisserie, like the Ron Popeil rotisserie oven infomercial. Can't even tell you how many times that was the case.
That's amazing.
Hundreds.
That's amazing.
So back
Set it and forget it.
back to my Chris's question. Lockhart is definitely by far the person that just doesn't make sense to me. Like,
From book to movie.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it has to do more with the fact that we lose so much of his character from the book in the movie. You don't see him as much as what you do in the book. The
Right.
book literally, like every other word and page has Lockhart on it.
He's coming out of the woodwork.
Right. And so I've been struggling with this book because there's just so much extra fluff in it. But I feel like the stuff that was important in it was not portrayed in the movie as much. And one of those
Fair.
key things is Lockhart. Like Lockhart is a big, huge character in this book. And we maybe see 15 minutes of him throughout the whole movie. I mean, maybe a little bit more, but like you don't see much of him. And so you don't get a lot of the actual character part. However, the parts that you do get, I just want to slap him.
So he's perfect.
So, I mean, in that sense, but I don't think the actor was the correct actor for him. I just
fair.
didn't see him as Lockhart.
Yeah, no, I kind of had the same thought with Lockhart because, like you said, especially in the bookstore in the movie, he actually starts out pretty strong,
Oh, for sure.
Starts off
yes.
great.
Yep.
but then he's nowhere for a long
Yep.
time. He's not with Sprout. He's not with Snape. He kind of then shows up in Dueling again as cocky jerk, and I'm again super strong scene,
Right.
really well done, but then he disappears again.
Well, and I think the little bits that we do see him aren't as like they're not portraying enough of his character for
He's
me.
not cocky enough.
Yeah, he's not as much of a condescending jackwagon as he is in the book. He's not
It gets
necessarily
worse in the book.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
my God.
And like
I
not
wanna
only that,
smack
but
the
like
shit out of my face.
Right?
Just saying.
like he's not as horrible in the scene with Harry writing the fan mail. Like you don't get a lot of that oomph. So, Tim, what do you think? Who is
Have we already jaded you?
Well, no. So I'm not going to beat the dead horse of Lockhart. I think we can all agree on that. So I'll go to a different. I say Crab and Goyle.
Ooh.
Fair.
They're
Okay.
not dumb and mean enough. They're just like, oh, let me stuff my face. Like,
I mean,
And
they
that's-
do that a lot in the book too.
Sure,
However,
But they actually
they're
speak.
Malfoy's
Yep.
henchmen.
yep. They're
Right?
yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think they did him justice in this.
I think the captain for the Slytherin,
Flint.
okay,
Marcus
him.
Flint.
I think he would have played a better either Crab or Goyle than he does as the captain because
agree
he's
with
just
that.
got that look. He's
He
got that
glowers.
kind of that just
Yeah.
the teeth as
and
well.
the-
Yep. It just kind of plays into that character. I would think.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
agree
funny
with
you
that.
mentioned that because when I first saw that scene,
Yeah.
I thought he was one of them
Ah.
because
Then
he
you're like,
looks
wait,
like
no.
it. He's glowering
Yep.
and the teeth and everything. But speaking of that scene, like I don't feel like they did that scene justice either. That
Yep.
should have been. That was like kind of a crux of the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're talking about mudbloods and we're hunting them down and
Yep.
they're not pure enough. We should kill them and like just kind of glossed over it. That almost like they didn't even want to do that scene.
Right. And do you
I
think
wonder,
that's
do you think they toned it down for like a kid's audience more?
So fun fact, I did not realize this till I was looking. Sorry, honey. The first movie is PG-13. So I accidentally let our daughter watch PG-13 movie, but she's okay with it now. She read the book. She's fine. This movie's PG.
okay?
So they did tone it down from the first movie.
So I don't think that's
like-
the reason they toned it down.
No, I think
th-
as an overall vibe, it's
Yep.
toned down, and
Yeah.
that is part of it.
Yeah. But I think the other part of that would be the of what mudblood actually kind of refers to. It's the derogatory.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
they just
word.
turned the volume down on genocide.
Yeah,
Yeah, essentially.
I mean, you get
You get a
on,
PG version.
on the
of it.
lighter side, you get the horribleness of, I will never say this, but calling somebody like the N word.
Right.
Like it's just horrible.
Yeah.
You never do
Right.
it. Like it's supposed to have that kind of weight,
Yep.
along with the wearing a star in World
Yeah,
War II
exactly.
kind of weight. It's also going to go over a lot of kids' heads.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I feel like they just
Yeah, I agree.
It's supposed to be a very integral, like, this is the reason that whatever's about to happen. And
Crazy
then
stuff.
it just doesn't.
you could just feel the emotion when you read the book.
Yep, for sure.
Well, also in the book, Hermione doesn't know what a mudblood is.
True.
And
And in
she-
the book,
and in the movie, she's the
does.
one who
She's the one that
explains
explains
it.
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she shouldn't know.
No.
And I'm also disappointed with the slug scene. Like
I mean,
Ron is
when
like
he's literally, though,
hundreds of slugs.
he goes like that, like in Hagrid's
That was a big slug.
thing. I was like, that's disgusting.
So,
Look, it's like 100 of those.
Yeah, it's-
in one go,
Yeah.
and he keeps going.
so fun fact.
Yeah.
Back to Rupert Grint here. Loved those scenes. The slugs were flavored.
Oh, those weren't CGI.
They were not, besides the one that's live on the ground, I'm assuming. But no,
Interesting.
they flavored them all. So that way he wasn't like actually puking. And so he was like, they were amazing. They were banana and strawberry and
They were
chocolate.
actual slugs, though?
No. They're fake slugs,
Oh.
but they flavored them.
I thought you
It
were
made 'em
saying
look
they
real.
dipped him in some sort of
God, no.
flavor and then stuffed him in his mouth.
Go.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean,
That's
it,
commitment to the
This
character.
one's strawberry flavored.
well, it's like going to the dentist. Like, you get
fair.
those different flavors and stuff. I just thought that's what you meant.
Kind of, but they're fake. Rubber
Okay.
slugs
All right.
covered in flavored slime. So it
Yum.
looked real bad, but
Yeah,
he
it
was
did.
like, this is great. I could do this all day.
That's so funny. Oh my goodness.
And also, speaking of the henchmen, so this is kind of funny that movies and books or I shouldn't say books, that doesn't make sense. Movies and shows are so hit and miss on whether or not they allow any improvising. So obviously, if we're going to compare shows here, really obvious of like West Wing, you couldn't put an or a the out of place, or you were redoing the scene.
Interesting.
The Office and Parks and Rec and all those would do what they called fun runs. So they would do what was scripted, and then they would just tell the actors to have fun.
Right.
And that's how they got some of their better scenes. They really let the kids go nuts in this one when it comes to improvising. So not a
But
kid,
they didn't
but
do that great
Lucius.
of a job
Well,
improvising.
maybe because Lucius kicking Dobby at the end, obviously
Right.
not a kid, but improvised. Malfoy looking at, I get him backwards, Carbogoyle with the glasses. I didn't know you could read. Totally improvised, not scripted.
Well, yeah, because that's not in the book.
Yeah. And so I think that's a clever line.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally improvised. And then Harry has a couple of his, in the dueling club when Malfoy asks if he's scared and he looks back and says, "You wish." Totally improvised. And then same with at the very end when Malfoy tells Harry, "We must always hope Harry Potter is here to save the day." And he says, "I will be." Totally improvised.
Okay.
So there's some great one-liners
Yeah.
that they just kind of let the kids play a little bit, which I kind of like.
Yeah.
I'll give you 50% on that. Some of those I thought were a little corny.
I mean, did you think they were corny when you were 12?
Probably not. I think it's so different when you're an adult and you're watching it all
As a
over
kid,
again.
when Harry's going, "You wish," I'm like, get him, yeah.
That's a really good point too. Like because the perspective that I have on this, like I think I've seen this movie once, like 20 years ago. So it's been
it's 23 years old.
right,
So.
right. But no, like I think I've seen it once, like more than
When?
20 years ago, right? And my perspective on a lot of this stuff has changed. Like I have a much bigger hatred for Dudley now than I did when I was a kid because I'm a parent, and Dudley is what happens when you fail at parenting.
Dudley is what happens when you
Like-
don't parent, period.
Sure.
Still a failure.
Yep. Still,
Yes.
Abject failure of parenting.
I mean, okay, but here's the thing. So we have an only,
Yep.
and we are raising her
Not to be like Dudley.
Well, obviously, but we are raising her around people that have like kids that are around her age or even a little bit younger or whatever. And that I think helps because you get that sibling vibe or whatever.
Yep.
And the issue with Dudley is that, so you haven't read the books, so you probably don't necessarily know this, is that Petunia is so against her sister that as soon as they have to take Harry in,
Yep.
like they hate him. They don't like him. They give him all of the scraps.
We gave him the room from the goodness of our hearts.
Right. We gave you food off of our table. I'm like, you gave him scraps and you made him sleep in a cupboard underneath the stairs for how many years? And the only reason you gave him that room was because you were scared and you had to
Ding, 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 ding.
get rid of all of your son's broken crap because
His broken VCR.
that's where I know,
You want to
right?
age these deer.
Do you have one of those, Tim? A VCR?
Oops.
I do.
I do not.
We used
I
to.
might
I
need to
don't know that we
acquire one.
do.
I've got one for you.
I
don't know that we do.
One.
eBay, here we come.
That's where I got mine.
But
do not
like,
need a VCR.
you don't get that like that feeling of like family. He is that quintessential only child that
Yeah.
has been babied his entire life, and even though they have a kid that's the same age,
They don't treat him as.
they don't. No. And I realized yesterday after doing the podcast at like, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it was before I went to bed. I realized that both of the girls have flower names, Lily and Petunia.
Oh yeah.
I was like, wait, this is the weirdest thought I just
Light
had.
bulb.
Is this like
Exactly.
one of those memes where like the brain is like, "Hey, are you asleep?" And you're like, "Yes."
That's
It's a
bro. That is every day. Every day.
Yeah, my life.
Every day.
Yeah, it's bad. But
I mean, some of her best work when she's sleeping. I'm not even kidding.
when I'm
brain's like,
sleeping.
Asleep. Yeah, sleeping. Yeah, no, sleep.
I came up with some really cool
very
ideas
creative.
last night. So, but yeah, it was one of those like, oh, they both have flower names. Huh. I wonder if they were flower children
Yeah.
in that. I
I
mean,
mean, they would have been.
1972 is what I saw and something. I don't remember what in the movie. So
Yeah. That's about right.
maybe. So yeah, I don't know.
That's funny.
But yeah.
All right. Is there anything in the book that you really missed? Going through your 2 pages of notes of what was left out.
I mean, there are a lot of things that are different between the book and the movie. I think one thing that was needed would have been when Harry goes down the fire chimney to
Oh,
get to Diagon
God.
Alley.
He goes diagonally.
Yes, he goes to the wrong place, which is fine, but you miss the entire thing with Lucius and with Draco, all of it, and it was such a pivotal. What?
You're killing me with your ability to call out
Suss
important
out
things that you don't know are
I'm
important.
glad she's
Good
bringing it up because
God.
I was afraid to bring that up.
Tim's
So I'll just let her.
Tim's so worried about spoilers. He's like, I gotta be so careful what I say. But that scene is gonna come back in a few books,
Okay, and
and the fact that they left it out blows my mind.
it's such a pivotal moment in the book. I don't understand why they would have left it out in the movie.
I think you're looking up the same thing.
Yep.
But I'm wondering was the reference to the future written at
Yeah.
the time of that filming? And so if not, that could explain it.
Where the
So there,
where the book might have actually taken something from the movie as canon.
it could have.
Interesting.
Potentially.
Okay.
Or
And-
at least explains why it was left out.
It
Such
was-
a pivotal
it was
scene.
not in 2005. So that's why. So that is also something of note. I can't remember if I said this last time or not, but the author, JKR, got full rights to the script, into editing, into final
Right.
production, all that. Which is why you asked me what Lucius was saying at the very end. She intentionally approved that. We'll come back to that in another couple books, because that is not what he starts to say in the book. She intentionally improved that to show his hatred.
So what scene is missing for the guy that hasn't read the book?
So when he comes out of Nocturne Alley, when he comes out of the chimney and
Yep.
slides on the floor and the hand grabs him.
Yep.
Hand doesn't grab him in the book.
No.
He looks at it, but as he's kind of meandering that shop, he hears somebody comes in, he jumps into a cupboard, and it's the Malfoys. It's son and
Draco.
dad
Sure.
coming in, and you find out he's talking to the shop owner, and dad is selling things that would be bad if they got found in a raid.
Dark magic stuff.
Raids that a certain Weasley was doing and why he was home from work late.
Arthur Weasley.
Okay.
So it builds the tension between
Okay.
them a little bit more.
Yep.
And there's this, yeah.
A cupboard, you say?
I know, right? I thought the same thing. I was like, oh, he likes the cupboards. I think the second thing that bothers me is the car. So
Really?
the car is it flies
That's one of my
whatever.
favorite characters.
Okay. It flies whatever at the beginning. Obviously, that part is cool. However, when they get to the Whomping Willow and it's like, hitting the car and everything like that, and it goes
Another
into
one
the,
of my favorite characters.
into the forest. The car
He's
is
really going to like the next book.
the car is supposed to turn like crazy. Yeah, like a wild animal. And it has zero personality throughout this movie. There's nothing to give you the fact that like
I don't think it has
this
zero
car
personality.
well, it like in the book, it's supposed to have more personality
different, yeah.
throughout. Like even when they first get back into it and everything like that, when they can't go through the
barrier.
Ouch! I just whacked myself with the mic.
How long have we been doing this?
I know, right? But like, there's no personality with the car, and then they find it in the Forbidden Forest, which we completely skip over. Like, They don't find it in the Forbidden Forest before they see the spiders. The spiders then are supposed to take them to the dad. The dad is supposed to be blind. That's not all correct in there.
It bugged me that Eric Gog wasn't blind.
And then not only
bugged.
that, but then the car is supposed to come back like a wild dog or whatever. Like, ooh, my owners.
I mean, it kind of did.
It's supposed to like shove the people in, and it's supposed to like drive them out.
Yeah.
There aren't any spiders that are trying to get to them.
It bothers me that Ron drives.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. There's no personality with that car. And that car was my favorite, like almost one of my favorite parts throughout the whole book is just the car's like crazy cool personality.
Yeah. I can forgive them for not like bringing the car back throughout the movie, just in those two places. But I agree. Yeah, it should have been more like feral and like in charge and like I'm here to save, almost like
Whacking
Genie,
spiders with
right?
the door.
Like,
Exactly. Do something.
yeah, it was kind of. Why did you just ruin that for me?
I'm
I was
sorry.
okay with it
Yeah.
until now.
Yep.
It mostly just bothers me that Ron drives
Yeah.
Fair.
because they're supposed to be just like piled in there and just the car's making a break for it.
Right. And like and Harry goes, Ron, grab Fluffy, or not Fluffy, Fang.
Fang.
Wrong
Fang.
movie.
Wrong one. Wrong dog. I mean, they're both dogs. So
both
it was
big
close.
dogs.
But he's like, Ron, grab Fang. And like they all jump into the car. And then the car just like takes off and is cool and has funness. But yeah, it's just not there.
So I think I mentioned this when we were watching. Asina's kind of okay, very much okay, honestly. To have them leave out is Arthur and Lucius fighting in the bookstore.
I wish they had the fist fight just
No.
because I wanted to see it.
Because to me, that line of, we clearly have different ideas of what disgraces the name of wizard is such a strong line that I think then by the childish fish fight. Fish fight. Wow. Fist fight.
It's time for bed.
Yes, it is. It is midnight. Almost. The fist fight just negates everything he just says. And it bothers me.
I can understand that because Mr. Weasley is supposed to be just like this
Like you said, the
jovial
dad.
guy. He's supposed to be
Yeah.
the dad. However, he's also defending his family and he's defending the right to be whoever you want to be as a wizard. And I think that's the part of the fist fight that I wish they had because of the fact that it shows that he can be a softie and a cool dad or whatever, but he also is going to defend everything he thinks is correct and everything that is like.
I don't think you
for
always have
him.
to defend things by getting physical.
He's principled though, and that's why I think I have the problem with the scene at Hogwarts where they kind of downplayed it with the slugs and when the term mudblood was used, like
Oh.
right.
They bring it down so much to make that PG,
Yeah.
and it just kind of it doesn't give you that oomph of the actual how it's supposed to be and the tension through and the dramatics throughout the book.
Yeah.
Like as much as I think this book is so much fluffy, I just also think that there's so much tension and drama because it's also kind of leading into whatever the next several books are going to be. So it's got to give it that something. And I think that the movie just being able to bring it down to PG is just kind of, it brings it down and it just, it misses something for me.
Yeah.
But
Another thing I hadn't thought about till just now that is really missing in these books, in this movie from the book, is Ginny in the background.
oh, yep.
Because in the book, the author's leading you along kind of the whole time that Ginny's kind of keeps getting mentioned and she's sick and she's pinkish and she wants to talk to
Right.
Harry, but she doesn't have the guts. And she just kind of keeps coming back and she just disappears in the movie.
To be fair, it's not completely absent.
It's-
They don't talk, but it flashes to her every now and then. She looks like.
Yeah, but it's kind of like with Riddle. Like you lose a lot of the Riddle bits and pieces too, because he's mentioned more in the book as well. And so while they
do talk
might
about him a lot more.
flash back and forth, I think you just kind of you don't notice it because it's not really as pointed out as it would be if you were reading it.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah. No, I just feel like in the book, the author does a better job of the string. Of just like, remember Ginny's here. Remember Ginny's here. Remember Ginny's here.
Well-
oh, who opened the Chamber of Secrets? Oh, remember Ginny's here.
Right.
I
Yeah.
was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. And kind of like in the first book to the movie, you see Snape. He might not talk a lot, and
But
he might
he's
not.
there.
You see him a lot more with Quirrell, and I think that's why you kind of keep thinking, oh, well, maybe he is the bad guy. Like maybe he is.
Keeps it in your head.
Yeah. But I mean, I think overall it was a good movie. I just think it kind of fell flat a little bit with the tension, the drama, what it kind of felt was missing. But other than that, I think it's just like it's a good next. Let's get over
let's
the
keep
wave
going.
and let's keep going and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a
And
good
with
stepping stone.
again, everyone who's read all of them, don't jump on me. There are two very notable exceptions to this. But compared to the first book, there are not a lot of through ties to the rest of the series. That the first book, like my book is full of notes of book 5, book 7, book 6, I don't remember if this is 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Those blend together in my head. Like I noted that all over the place. This one I'm like, oh, there's one and there's one more.
Well, did you
got my
notice
chills.
that there's not a lot of purple? There's not a lot of green.
not a
There's
green.
not a lot of mention of colors or the number 7 or any of that kind of stuff.
We
It
did-
just kind of.
We did add a 7. What was it?
It was in the bookstore, I believe.
Maybe. Shoot. It's Lucius that says it. It says 7. Or is there no, because there's 12 governors. Or 13 governors, something like that.
There's 12 governors, which I actually made a comment about that because I was like, who makes the tie? Like who breaks the tie and the governor thing if there's 12 of them?
Well, you just put hexes on everyone. Don't worry about it. Threaten their families and you get what you want.
Well, they don't also say that he got fired. So in the movie,
Yeah, fair.
I mean,
Fair.
Mr. Malfoy gets buyout.
He is no longer a governor.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about them glossing over who wins the House Cup?
Oh,
If you didn't know, I saw that coming.
so in the first book, Dumbledore gives, even in the first movie,
all the extra
Dumbledore
points
gives
at the
all the
end
extra
and-
points and everything.
And Gryffindor wins and all that.
That's
Yeah.
why I sent the
He-
funny thing of like,
So what's the deal in the second
He
book?
does the same thing in the second book, only he does it in private.
he does it in his office.
He does it in McGonagall's office.
Fair.
In the movie, they're in Dumbledore's
They're in
office.
Dumbledore's office.
And the Weasleys never were there.
I'm okay with
and
that.
Lockhart was never there.
Also okay with that.
And Ron takes the
Whatever.
Azkaban thing. So I just thought
I'm
that was
okay with the
interesting.
Weaslers not being there. You want to see me cry in a movie? Have parents excited that they think their child or that
Is
they
no
realize their
longer
child's
dead.
alive after
Yeah.
thinking she was dead.
Right.
You'll get me
get-
crying like that.
I get that. But
Wait a
so
few more books.
in the end there, when he's talking to Harry and Ron before Ron leaves with the letter for Azkaban, he gives them extra points. And then therefore
They win.
the Gryffindors win again.
Well, in fairness, again, it's never laid out. You don't know if they're already winning, and the points
True.
mean nothing.
Yep.
You have no idea.
Yep.
But 400 points is a lot. 'Cause he gives them 200 apiece.
That's a lot of points.
It's a lot
Yeah.
of points.
Though,
So-
granted, I mean, was it Hermione? They got like 10 points just in the shrieking root class.
Yes. For answering questions, right?
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were doling out points like
Shrinking
it was.
root class. Herbology?
Sure, that one. It's late. Which, by the way, speaking of end of the movie, Ron and Hermione.
I kind of asked the same thing. I was like, "What? Like, what's going on with them?" Because that was weird and awkward. And not only that, but Ron notices Hermione first, and Hermione and then Harry
And then
kind
Harry
of
leans over. I love Harry's
pops
smile
out.
when he leans out.
Yeah,
Both their smiles are like so genuine. I love it.
yeah.
Yeah. No, they put
a
in a
weird
fun
one.
tween moment there of, did these two like each other?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. But again, they're 12.
Right. No, they're 13 in this one because they were 12 in the first book.
They were 11 in the first one.
Hermione was.
Hermione was 12. The boys were 11.
See, this is where we need Dobby GPT.
Agreed.
Just saying.
So now the boys are 12 and she's 13.
Okay. Cool.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little lead in, and also like they've been interviewed a few times. They're like, "How do you feel about your voice cracking in this movie?" And they're like, "We're 12-year-olds playing 12-year-olds, so
Right.
who cares?"
Right.
Like or maybe a 13-year-old playing a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
like,
it's very method.
yeah, it's very method.
I mean,
Especially
Just
Ron
saying.
before going into the forest. He is
Right.
very squeaky,
that's true.
and yeah,
I mean, who could blame him?
right? Not at all.
Like, technically, Ron going into the forest is the very first time. He
Yes.
wasn't
Yes, yes,
supposed
yes.
to be in it in the
You're right.
movie
You're
in the
right.
first
You're right.
in the first movie.
You're right.
He wasn't in the forest.
I had this like, no,
was
we've already
Neville.
talked about Ron going into the forest for the first time. I was like, oh, that was as we read this book.
Yeah. Yeah.
It blends
But-
together.
So, Bob, what was your favorite part of the book or the movie? Sorry, the movie.
Oh man, that's a fun one to spring right on you. I mean, the fight sequence with the giant snake was pretty cool. I think the Quidditch match that we actually got to see had some Star Wars vibes.
It does.
I thought that was kind of cool. There's like a Death Star trench run around the side of the around the outside of the pitch, and I thought that was pretty good.
Ooh, pitch. Very British of you. I'm impressed.
I mean,
mean,
he is
it-
Canadian.
That's
Isn't
fair.
That
Was
British?
Canadian, not
Hey.
anymore,
Whatever.
Points
Yeah, no, that
taken
was-
back.
right? Okay, fine. You can have my maple syrup card. It'll be all right. I'll live.
I want Tim Hortons.
I know,
you
right?
can have it.
They're
Stuff's
in Minnesota
trash.
now.
Yeah, they're in the States.
Did not know that.
In Minnesota. They're not.
Anyway,
everywhere.
sorry.
Southwest flies there. Just saying. Getting coffee on a weekend, you can.
Uh,
In fact,
good.
I even think it's at the airport in Minneapolis.
You don't even have to leave the airport.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it is
I
in the
think
airport.
there is one in the
Yeah.
airport.
That's amazing.
So, anyways, favorite part.
Yeah, no, the Quidditch match was pretty fun.
Yeah.
The snake fight scene was pretty good.
Yep.
The little section in Hagrid's house right before they go into the
The forest.
into the
the forest.
forest, I thought that was pretty good too. Like there's a lot going on there.
There's a lot of moving parts there.
Yeah.
A lot of there was a lot of plot development that happened in that house in that scene. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm
Okay.
at.
Tim.
Definitely not the
Post-credit.
spiders. The post credit was pretty good too. The post credit was very good.
Okay.
No, but I'd have to agree. Hagrid's hut, because as you said, the scene development,
Yep.
character development, the dueling. I feel like while there were scenes that I was disappointed by, that one I felt like mostly lived up to.
But they don't ever teach the kids what to say.
In fairness, they
They
don't
just-
teach him in the book either.
Yeah, they kinda
That's
just
true.
spring 'em
That
into it
is
in the
true.
book.
Remember,
That
he
is true.
drops his wand.
Well, they are second years. I suppose they should probably already know. Some
They're
of
not
that.
all second years.
The slugs was pretty
Oh.
good too.
Yeah.
The slugs is good.
Disappointed.
Krista, favorite part of the movie.
So I'll get all sappy here. I like the end when Hagrid comes back and how it's not Hogwarts without Hagrid.
Yeah.
And I tie that back to something we can watch together after we're done with all of this. Is there was a special that came out in 2020, I believe, maybe 2021. I have to look that up. That HBO did a special with all of them, and Robbie, who plays Hagrid, at the very end has a little line that he was like, "This is amazing because my grandkids and my country and the world." Even though Robbie will not always be here, Hagrid will be, and Hagrid will always be there to welcome them home and you know, for these kids to enjoy and all of this. And like a year later, he passed away.
Oh.
And so seeing him come back with all this warmth and this joy with all of the kids, and I was like, I think of that interview and I go, he was dead on.
Yeah.
Like he was like, Hagrid will always be there. Hagrid will always be the big fluffy giant that welcomes everyone home, even though the actor has
He's not
passed.
here, yeah.
And he was R.I.P. He was amazing.
Did he wear stilts?
He
Or
spent
is
a lot of time standing on
actually
boxes.
That tall. Okay.
I mean, he is very tall.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. I believe he was fairly tall.
Okay.
But no, he spent a lot of time standing on platforms
Okay.
and boxes.
Yeah,
and-
because the very last bit where Hermione is literally like craning
Craning.
so hard and like,
Harry
what
hugs
is
him at, like,
going
waist
on
height.
right now?
Yeah.
Exactly. I was like,
Yeah.
what is going
No.
on right now?
he's standing on a box.
Big dude.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Big dude.
half giant,
Nice.
big dude. I like that.
Okay.
How about you?
Mine. So I have two. I like when Harry goes into Dumbledore's office the first time, the stair scene. I just am like,
That's amazing.
I want that. I want the big bird. I want the stairs that like make you go up.
Get
like,
on,
I
Bob.
think that'd be cool.
Right.
And
I also wanted to move when you say sherbet lemon.
right, exactly. I think the other one that was when Harry gets rescued and comes to the Burrows. And
that's fun.
he's in the house and he gets to experience something that like a loving family just cherishes. Like, and Ron is kind of like, he's, you know, not ashamed, but
He's like, "Yeah, it's not much."
like, yeah, there's not much to it. Like it's leaning like this and that, just like ignore whatever. But like Harry's
It's
just,
home.
yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
home.
home.
It's what a house actually should look like. Like when houses are very sterile to me, like they're just like, what's
structure.
going on? Yeah. And so I just think like the Weasleys they make it so much like home. And the fact that he has to keep going to the Dursleys instead of to the Weasleys pisses me off.
I gotta look up when we learn why he has to do that. So you
Stop.
quit asking me.
Pretty sure it's like book 6.
I think it's sooner than that.
It's a while at least.
So I get to keep
find
getting
out.
pissed off with it. Got it.
That's annoying.
Yeah. And we miss Christmas in this one. Because, like, there's a lot that happens over Christmas in the book.
You just get the sleigh rides
Yeah.
and the trees in the background when they're
Right.
brewing polyjuice.
Polyjuice.
I think that's interesting that they have a Christian holiday for a bunch of wizards and witches. I just,
I mean, as long as
I mean-
6 isn't the number and it's actually 7.
Wrong.
So,
That's
just-
a whole different podcast. though, like,
I just,
trees aren't Christian.
well, I mean, there's that. But Christmas.
Trees are actually witchcraft. Is where those stem from.
Yeah, but Christmas.
Yes,
anyways.
it's Christmas break.
Anyways.
But anyway, so
Winter.
before
We'll call it winter break.
before we let Tim do funny animal noises, anyone else have anything else? He's warming up.
No, so I'll take half a second to say that watching the two of you develop this podcast has been really, really fun, and I'm super proud of both of you for what you all have created and what you're continuing to do. I can't. A selfish part of me can't really wait until the Harry Potter stuff is done and you start
That's fair.
to get
Yes.
picking books.
Me too. Me too.
I'm looking forward to that a lot.
I'm a little, I'm still trying to figure out what book I want to start with just because I don't want it to be too out there.
But at any rate, no,
I'm
I just-
excited not being the one doing the read ahead and the extra work. It's your turn.
right?
Right.
But no, either way, I just wanted to say that I'm really proud of both of you, and I, it's cool to be able to be a part of this and to help you guys both do this. So
Yeah.
Can I call him a suck up?
Yeah, totally.
I have to second that. And I appreciate you guys
All
inviting
of
us on.
we hit midnight, so all of our lights just turned
yeah,
off.
there we go. There's the automation.
It's fine. It's all good.
Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
That was amazing. You guys are awesome. We're done.
Even the house wants to go to bed.
And cut.
Right.
Anyways,
But yes.
No, I have to second that, and I thank you guys for having us on.
yeah.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Probably lose, viewership with this.
Oh, okay. I
On
joked
here,
we were putting you guys closer to the camera for the eye candy tonight. It's
Well,
fine.
and
Well,
Tim technically hasn't really looked
I was
at
going
the
to say
camera.
He has not
he's
looked
been
at
he's been
He's
this
been
way the
very-
whole night. Like I'm kind
Interested
of
in what you're saying.
crane my neck and do this one and all that kind of stuff. So what do I do with my hands? I don't know.
I do with my hands.
I mean, it's kind of like when we're on it, we're constantly looking at the thing going, okay, you got to
Sit
remember
up
to
straight.
sit up.
Sit up
Come on.
straight.
We look like a weirdo just sitting in our chairs. But whatever. I mean, we're having fun, and that's the whole point
Yeah.
of all of
Yes.
this. And so I'm excited that that book 2 is officially over.
So glad book
Woo
2 is done.
woo! And now
So glad book 2 is
we
done.
get to go into book 3.
So remember, we're going to take 1 week off.
Yes.
So there's a 1 week break after.
Oh, we are
between
going to
each
do a
books.
break.
I asked him. I was like, "Are we
Yes.
doing a break?" And he
Let's do
goes,
one
"I
week
don't
break
know."
between all the books.
Okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Okay, we don't have to.
Well,
but anyway,
we
there may or may not
appreciate-
sleep in fear.
I mean, it is midnight.
She's tired.
And you
She's
have
starting
to
to
work
threaten
tomorrow.
people. This is great.
Threaten people. All right. So diving into book 3, The Prisoner of Azkaban.
I'm excited.
My fun
Ooh. Is that a
illustrated one.
bus?
That is
Oh,
a
yeah.
bus.
Ooh, I've always wanted to live on a bus. Like, it's a weird thing. My dad actually had the old school
The
VW
VW bus.
bus
Pusher.
that he lived in for a long time.
So it's
I
They're
thought-
back on
actually-
the market.
I know.
So
They look hideous
I'm
Anyways,
gonna have to
Really?
in
disagree with
person.
you.
In
okay.
person, they're
I,
hideous.
I
person.
disagree.
It looks like a 95 Chevy Caravan. I'm
So
not
actually,
wrong, or not sorry, not Chevy Caravan.
The bus
like
is a
Dodge
triple
Caravan.
decker bus.
it's very London.
I mean, yes,
It's London and a half.
it's supposed to be. So the funny thing, as I actually kind of just noticed looking at this, it's Skelligero being advertised on it, which is what fixes his arm in the second book, which is kind of funny. And it advertises on the top, anywhere and everywhere, quotes, except underwater,
That's funny.
which is pretty clever. So yeah, join us in a week, maybe 2. We'll find out when we dive into this book.
Yes, I'm excited.
Slightly longer than the previous. That's cool. I'm excited to look through the illustrations of this one. I haven't looked too closely. So let me add it to my pile.
Oof. There goes the sorting hat.
That's okay. Keeps not putting me in Gryffindor anyway.
Right. But anyways, thank you
Thanks
for joining.
us.
And we will see you next time.
Next time. See
you later.
ya.
Thanks for joining us for this episode. If you had fun, please follow, download, and review this podcast on your preferred listening platform.
If you're ready for the next chapter, join the spoiler-free conversation on our Facebook group. Search You Haven't Read What? The podcast.
Or on Instagram and YouTube for exclusive videos and behind-the-scenes content. Have a great week.
And we'll catch you on the next page. All right, Tim, go for it. He blows out the mic.
Love it. Oh my gosh.